Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of This is Talking Sci-Fi with Sci-Fi Sean and
just Randee.
We're going to continue with our series of talking about original movies and their sometimes crappy remakes. We've covered War of the Worlds. We've covered The Time Machine. Now I'm going to go to something completely different. One of the best horror movies I think ever made is called, starring Vincent Price, The Fly. You hated the original, I'm sure.
No. I'm not going to say that. Yes, I always seem like I do, but now that you're giving me a list of stuff to go back and watch, it was fantastic. Okay? Fantastic, okay? But I'm so disappointed in the ending with the spider on the web at the end.
Why were you disappointed?
I don't know. It just seemed too cheesy.
It was 1950s technology.
No. I understand that, but we had
the white-headed fly.
Right. And the guy killed it, and then he realized, I just murdered half a human.
Yeah.
And
I think the two gentlemen at the end, Vincent Price and the guy that he was with, knew that was the situation.
No, they knew. But when the cop killed the one with the white head because it was squealing.
Right.
Help me. That was so cheesy.
That sent chills down my spine.
So what he realized when the cop killed that spider, he realized, oh my God, I did the same thing she did, so she don't need to go to prison for murder.
Right. So
the whole punchline was awesome, but it was cheesy.
All right. So let's back up a little bit.
All right.
And that's the part you couldn't get. I like the whole situation because the doctor scientist was trying to invent a teleportation device.
Yep.
Which I think is fantastic because being a Star Trek fan, Star Trek would not exist without the movie The Fly, in my opinion. So, doctor's inventing this teleportation device. He's getting obsessed with it to the point to where he goes and he teleports. Was it the family cat? And it's
eventually he gets to that, right?
Gets to that point. Yep. He'll teleport a plate, and the plate came out and the Made in China or whatever was on the back of it was flipped around backwards.
That's right. Yep.
So he still had to fine tune this thing, and he went and he did the cat,
he did the cat,
but it didn't come through. And it didn't come through. It was disintegrated, but you could hear him meowing.
Right.
Now, see, what I really liked about this old movie is it was a black and whiter, and I love black and white movies, and it was one of those. It's making you think. You don't see the monster or the creepiness. I'm getting chills just talking about it. Just like I mentioned Jaws. You don't ever see the monster until the very end, you know. So,
well, it didn't concern him that he had killed the cat.
No, it didn't. And so he finally figured out something, and he was teleporting another animal, and it was working.
Right.
It was a goat or a guinea pig. I forget what it was.
Oh, a gerbil?
A gerbil? I don't know what it was. So, unbeknownst to us watching the movie, his wife, who's in the entire movie, and his little son come by, and the beginning of the movie is the end of the movie. You caught that because the wife has gone kind of batshit crazy, and the son, there's all these flies in the house, so it's leading up to that. And he's like, Mommy, I caught a fly, and it had a white head. A white head? And you're hearing this through the whole movie. So then you finally figured out that you're at the end of the movie, and then they go to the front of the movie, and it's a scientist experimenting with his teleporter, and he, unbeknownst to us, gets in the teleporter and teleports. So the wife comes up to bring him his breakfast or whatever, and the door's locked, and she's not, honey, and this note comes out from underneath the door, and he says, just leave it by the door and just walk away. Don't come in here. Something has happened.
You trust me.
You need to trust me on this, So that happens, and then all of a sudden he's asking for these. He drinks brandy. He says, "Bring in my little cup of brandy and this." So
sugar, and
she said, "You can bring it in and just set it on the table." Well, he's sitting at the typewriter typing stuff out, and he has this sheath over his head,
right?
And she's like, "What? No, don't mess with me." And he had his hand in his pocket, and he's typing her instructions on this typewriter,
right?
And she's like, "Okay," and he's like, "Just leave it here." So when she walks out the door, or no, she goes to get something. He asked her to go get something for him and bring it back. So he takes his brandy and mixes it in with all his other food and stirs it up, and you hear this. He's eating it. So all this happens for a long time, and I can't believe you liked this movie because it was so drawn out. Well, finally, the fly, and he had transported, and of course his DNA got mixed with the fly, so he had the arm and a hand of a fly,
Right.
and the head of a fly.
Yeah.
So where did the head of the human
It's on the fly,
is on the
right.
fly? And that was the white-headed fly the little boy's trying to catch. So this is what's leading up to the part you started with.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out that the fly that he's mutated with is starting to take over his mind, and he's becoming a fly.
Right.
So he's convinced the wife to go and kill him because there's this big 10,000-pound press.
Right.
And he puts his hand in it. No, he puts his head in it and they crush it. They
And
forgot
the
to crush the hand.
Yeah.
They go back, and that's why it was activated twice.
Right.
Vincent Price is in it, and he's creepy, even though he's kind of like the straight guy in it. He's not like,
Right.
So at the end of the movie, they find the white-headed fly. It's the doctor that mutated with all that. So they kill it at the end by. So, great movie, scared the crap out of me. Even when I watched it a few weeks ago.
It didn't scare me.
It scared me. It creeped me out.
Okay.
I won't say scared. Now, let's switch forward to the Fly remake with Jeff Goldblum. Far superior than
Really?
the original.
Oh my God, I agree.
I loved the storyline.
I was so scared as a kid.
I was horrified of it. I can't even watch it to this day. I didn't watch it since we talked about doing this podcast because it messed me up. Because when she gets pregnant and all of a
Yes.
sudden it's that a maggot is laying there and I'm like, oh! Well, the technology was a lot better. And I'm usually not big on remakes, but I love The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my God, amazing.
The other remakes of it I didn't care for, but The Son of Fly, which they did The Son of Fly in original with Vincent Price.
Oh,
too.
I didn't realize
Yes.
that. I gotta
You have to find it. But a lot of action. He completely mutates into a fly in the remake. Not just like his head's a fly, but
Right.
he turns into the fly, and he throws up on shit and then eats it, and it's
Oh my God,
Lori
so
wouldn't even
disgusting.
think about watching it with me because it is disgusting. But it is so sad because he's trying so hard to reintegrate into a human
Right.
that he carries it too far, opens up the door, then the metal of the pod, the transport pod, mutates into his body, so he's just like this clump of flesh with metal sticking out of it.